My name is A.S. Elijah, and I'm a social impact photographer and filmmaker. Uh, Mostly, my work is centered around social impact projects. So growing up, I grew up in a community called Otodogbame, and while I was growing up, I knew I was always going to be a photographer because I really love camera. As a young child then, and even immediately I left school, while I was waiting for my admission, I was already going to a studio to learn photography there. So, and yeah, that was how it started until there was this sudden incident in my community, whereby the government was interested in our land and they wanted to displace us to, take over the place, and turn it into a luxury estate. So in the process, there was this German photographer, Jesco Denzel, that came to our community, and he was trying to document, the whole issues and everything that was basically unfolding there. So I think I was working with him, and then and that really kind of inspired me more. And then I came to realize that there's another angle entirely to photography. So in that process, I was able to discover that photography could be used as a strong tool to kind of shape discussions, to raise awareness about things. So, and for me, that is another depth to the whole photography thing for me. So yeah, that was how I pick up interest more. I work with him during the documentation, and I think the photography then went on to win like a WordPress award then. So thereafter I joined like a movement, which is like an urban poor movement, whereby we try to use photography to tell stories of community members, use photography to humanize them basically. So, and for me, that has been a very strong thing to live for. It's about trying to bridge gap, using your photography as an art to really bridge gap and make change. So, yeah, you could link that to storytelling for making change. How I feel when I'm taking documentary photography is a lot of times, the way I relate with my subject, so is about finding connection, and I don't treat them as an object because I'm very subjective when it comes to, because myself I'm a very emotional person. So, and I am always trying to pass a message across, and a lot of times I find connection with these messages, and and also in my photography a lot of time I take side. I'm not neutral because after listening to the person's stories and everything, so there's this connection, and then there's this sometimes empathy, sometimes it could be resilience, it could be you trying to portray this person as a hero, that despite everything the person is going through, the person is still trying to improvise and find a way to stay ahead of his or her challenges, basically. So yeah, I treat them, I'm very subjective, and I feel, a lot of times when I'm taking these people, I see strength, I see strength over adversity, I see courage, I see determination, I see creativity a lot, because when you get to listen to these people's story and what they do, and even despite their challenges and everything, how they are able to go around that, it's really, really inspiring, and it's worth all the time, it's worth documenting them, and they are all stories that are worth sharing basically. And when it comes to like the stakes, around how we get these pictures, so I think relationship with the communities really matters, because oftentimes when you go into these communities and they are not able to perceive you as one of them, so they could feel like you are coming to take advantage of them or something. So, and then that could lead to them like stopping you from not doing anything. So they must feel that you are one of them, so however you want to do it. And then you could do this in many ways. It could be through like the way you approach them, your relationships and everything, so, and the way you seamlessly blend into your environment, so, and the way you talk to the people around, and then they see you as someone who is equally accommodating and just like them. So yeah. And another thing that has really helped me in my own journey is that I speak most of the local languages of these communities, so, and that is very, very important. It could be as simple as the greetings and exchanges of greetings, basically. And I'm also a co-coordinator in the Nigerian Slum/Informal Settlements Federation, which have presence in about 100, which has presence in over 100 communities in Lagos only. So, and in this movement, I co-coordinate a media team that brings together youth from different communities across Lagos, and one of our aim is to use storytelling to change people's perspectives around these communities, basically. So this link, this relationship, it's very important, or it really helped to enhance our own work. Like when we go into the communities, people already know us, we have our movement slogans, and then when you start saying it like Agbajowo, Lafin Sonya, already you are identifiable, people already know who you are. So yeah, I feel that is relationship is at the core of what we are doing. And in terms of working with this community, is that you also need to involve them. Yeah, it has to be very collaborative. Like we just did a film, which is called The Legend of the Vagabond Queen of Lagos. So, and this film, we'll be working on it, which is the Nigerian Federation Youth Media Team and other professional external filmmakers as well. We'll be working on it for the past 4 years. And then if you see the production process and how everything unfolds, you'll see that community members were really at the heart of the production as well. It was like an equal collaboration. The people could see themselves being productive in telling their own their own stories as well. So all of these things help reduce the stake when you are going there to work, as long as you are involving them and they are feeling involved. So it's really going a long way. So, and regarding the pictures we took in 2017 when our community was demolished, when the whole forced eviction thing started. So the pictures were very timely, they were timely pictures, and a lot of times when I look back at them now, I feel they are very valuable, historic, how do I put it? If not tools, items, So when you look at them, it is like freezing time, freezing story, keeping the story alive, So they might have feel wherever the government, when they came to take the land and wherever, they might have feel like they've done it and they've moved ahead, but those things are documented and they are quite very representative of the community, the story, because the pictures were really centered around the culture of the community, how women kind of survive in this kind of eviction, with all the struggle that comes with it, with all the challenges, the impact of the forceful eviction on people, like the immediate impact, because before the final eviction, like we're already documenting the whole story, and then we're able to capture some of the culture, some of the ways the community people come together to discuss and make plan on the threat that was coming, which is the eviction. And then when the eviction started happening, when the bulldozers were in the community, so we're actually capturing the immediate impact. You could see displacement, and pictures, they tell thousands stories, just looking at them, mainly looking at them. We captured the immediate effect, we captured them like communities member going to other communities, because one thing about this forceful eviction is when you demolish one community, you've actually not solved any problem. It's either a new community, a new slum community will sprang up, or the population in another community will increase basically. So it was really a privilege to have been able to participate in that project and capture those moments. And the picture went ahead, won an award, and I felt a bit, I was happy, I was proud, although it is not a good thing to be proud about because of the incident that happened. But yeah, so I felt that the most important thing is that the picture we are able to engage, beyond our community. The pictures we are able to engage even beyond the country and around the world, which is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's about passing a message across. So yeah. Yes, I think the whole incident actually, the whole incident that happened in Otodogbame there actually propelled me to taking this as a course, keeping up, documenting other communities, because me personally, I feel that a lot of these communities are under represented, so I feel like a lot of these communities are under celebrated. So I feel like mostly people try to dehumanize these communities, and all these are just based on people's intuition, based on their own perspectives. So the idea now is to help bridge that gap, because the idea is to change the way people see, these communities, what they think of these communities, which often are not true. When you go into this community and you get to now talk to them, you get to now, it changes your whole perception, because these people are very humorous, they have strength, very hardworking, and they are very creative. They are very creative. These are people who really know how to improvise and who are content with their own life, and they love staying together, and so that is why I am doing this, and I hope to document a lot of stories, to just shape the way people perceive these communities and the people in this community. I see my art as something that is very provocative, so and I say that because like a lot of things that I document, are not really the things that are acceptable, with a first glance in the outside world there. You understand what I mean? Because, in as much as we are all living in the same world, our orientations, our ideologies, our cultures, a lot of things are different. You understand what I mean? So, and some are actually very well welcomed at the first glance. You understand what I mean? So, and that is hugely imparted by the Western world, and what people perceive to be norm in the society, So, and when you come to what my art represents, which is majority of all these people in communities, you see that they are always being pushed back, into a certain circle of what I feel as rejection, or what I feel low, unacceptable, low, you understand what I mean? So, because there is this, if you look at Lagos in general, there is this class and division, that exists, So yeah, so this is the perspective I see my own art from, trying to give voice to the voiceless, and doing this not by projecting them as people who are low, or people who are weak, but trying to highlight their resilience, trying to show that these people are powerful, these people are hardworking, and these people are also contributing to the economic prosperity of the state, basically. So yeah. I would say, when you look at the way these communities are being represented, in the media, you know, or like when you go on Google and you search most of these communities, maybe Irede, maybe Otodogbame or Sagokoji, a lot of them, you will see there is already like a definition to them, you know, like, and then these definitions does not really represent these people, because mostly the definitions kind of dehumanize them. The definition always see them as people who are weak, or people who are not acceptable, or people whose culture is not really the norm, you know, compared to the other bigger class and all that. So, which is what me personally I'm trying to do. You know, the idea, the motivation behind my art, basically, the motivation behind my art is to try to change that narrative. You know, is to change that narrative, is to change the way people see these people, and to humanize these people, you know, with the arts, basically. So, and that is exactly what we did with our incoming feature film, The Legend of the Vagabond Queen of Lagos, you know, which is a project that is being done by the Nigerian Federation Youth Media Team, you know, together with other professionals, you know. So yeah, the idea was to humanize our community people, you know. So if you look at the journey of our main character and everything, so it's fun. I want to say everyone should see the film once it is out, you know. So yeah, it's entertainment, but subtly trying to make comment on social issues, you know. One thing that I also want to say is that, you know, in as much as we are producing these artworks, you know, we also need like platforms, you know, to platforms where these messages, you know, could be depicted, or like platforms where this art could be exhibited, you know, and you know, so it gets so it could get to like a broader audience, so which is also very important, you know. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say.